Hey guys, welcome.
Hello.
Hey guys, welcome to Virtual Cider Week Hudson Valley. We are on day 5. It is Wednesday, 7 p.m. We have 4 more days to go of the wonderful virtual cider week events. It's been great. And I'm really excited to welcome the Hull family. We have Naked Flock Cider with us today. The entire family, I think. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for joining me tonight for this tasting and for this cider chat. Thank you to everyone else tuning in and watching. Why don't you guys just tell us a little bit about Applewood Winery, a little bit of the history, and about you guys. Like, who are you? Who's who? And what do you guys do?
I wonder. Well, I tell you, but I'm thirsty. I'm gonna have some cider first.
Have some cider. Cheers.
Applewood Winery has just started their 26th year of being in business, and we introduced Naked Flock back
Save some for me.
Did we introduce Naked Flock?
We introduced
doing a show,
Naked Flock in 2012. We started our Naked Flock line of ciders, but we've always made cider here. Actually, it was one of the first things that you started making. Actually,
Yeah.
Ciders and apple wines.
25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now into the 26th year.
Yeah, and it was in 2012 that we finally started listening to all of our customers who were telling us this cider is so good, you got to get it into stores. That we kind of rebranded and came up with the idea for the Naked Flock brand and started distributing out to local retailers.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about who's who and what are your main roles at Naked Flock?
I'm CEO for life.
CEO for life, I can tell that.
Makes all of the ciders and all of the wines and everything else. So he makes everything right here on the property. He has right from the get-go.
And then I'm Dylan. I manage mostly our outside sales, getting it into all of your favorite bars and restaurants all over the Hudson Valley.
Thank you for that.
And then what do you do?
I'm Michelle. I've been married to Jonathan for longer than 25 years. No, I do everything else. I run the tasting room. I do all the event planning. And I take care of all the music and just about anything else you can think of that doesn't involve actually making the cider and wine.
Awesome. Well, you have them to do that for you, so that's good.
Absolutely.
It's a really great family dynamic. I like it. So tell me a little bit more. You started to mention about Applewood Winery. Tell me a little bit of the history of that. It's been around since what year?
Well, Applewood
It's so long, I can't remember.
Winery itself, the
What's,
winery,
1994.
1994.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. The property has been in the Hull family since 1949. Wow. His grandfather, Jonathan's grandfather, originally bought the property, and Jonathan's dad, David, wanted to be an apple farmer and took over the property. And eventually, Jonathan and I came up here to live from New York City and decided to start a winery.
Nice. Very, very cool. And you guys were making wines that were, what kind of wines?
Very first wine I ever made was Macintosh.
That's an excellent wine.
Apples, yeah.
Yes, and we had just brought it back for our 25th anniversary celebration in November, and I remember that it tasted way better now than it did 25 years ago. It was really good. Everybody really loved it. It was, our signature wine.
Yeah, it was a big hit with everyone. Kind of a throwback wine since we hadn't made it in a long
wine.
time. Yeah,
that's the word, throwback. And now we have all different types of wine, from Chardonnays, Merlots, Cévals, different blends, Cabernet Franc.
But cider is why we're
of course,
here.
all of our lovely ciders.
Yeah, but I think it's hard to say. Definitely a part of our main focus is the Naked Flock for sure. We love that. That's a whole different ball game. And we love the fact that we have all of our core ciders, which we're going to be tasting for you, with you, or anybody who's watching. And we also have a rotating tap line where Jonathan loves to experiment with small batch ciders and make them as
We're working
seasonal.
on peach cider right
We're
now.
working on a
Yeah.
peach cider right now, and we try to rotate the tap lines and keep the small batch ciders as interesting and seasonal as possible. And of course, people can always take them in a growler to go if they want. So it makes it fun. It makes it more interesting to change it all the time and just have certain like limited editions always available throughout the year.
Yeah, we just always have something different going on in the tasting room here, hoping to draw some more people in who love the core ciders that we sell at retail.
That's very cool. Full disclosure, Naked Flock Cider is one of the first ciders, New York ciders that I remember. I worked at Murray's Cheese back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Cheese bar. Yeah, Dylan, I remember you, and I remember it was one of the first ciders.
I knew from somewhere
He was
before
just a
Cider Week,
he was
but
just
I
a kid
couldn't.
back then.
Yeah, we had Naked Flock cider on our menu. We had a French cider, and we had a Spanish cider, and I think Naked Flock was our first New York cider.
Really?
Back in 2000, I think it was 2012 or 13.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was the
Or
first
shortly
year.
right after that. And I remember everyone asking us about like the image, like the naked flock, the naked goose. Yeah, tell me about the inspiration for that, because it was definitely unique.
Well, I'll try to give you the shortest version of it, which is what Naked Flock stands for, is that we have everything just stripped down, bare naked. When you look at the ingredients on our cans, it's like 4 or 5 words.
Right.
That's it, because we're making it completely natural. And it's based on an old folklore story in Warwick about a local pastor who had a bunch of geese that his friend, the author Herman Melville, had some special seeds that he planted for him that were poppies. And the geese broke into the garden and ate the poppies.
Those like kind of poppies.
The tripping your blank off and poppies. And
and
down was valuable back then. They stripped them.
the pastor
And a couple
his
hours
wife
later,
did,
the geese started waking up,
and they were
walking around,
naked.
take down, stark naked. And the old nasty church lady said, kill those guys. That's sacrilege. And the pastor's children made little coats for the geese, and they covered them up. And the pastor
Stood up for his flock. He
Yeah.
would not put them
the
down.
pastor said to the church ladies that don't mess with my naked flock.
Just
Oh
like
my God.
we say, we're taking a stand for a naked cider with no additives or sugars or artificial, nothing like that.
I absolutely love that. That's amazing. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me a little bit about the apples that you use?
We use just a variety of apples that we get. It's more what we're doing is about the yeast selection that we're doing with it, and the different strains that we use and how we blend them together to get the different flavor profiles that we're looking at. But all the apples are all 100% local right here in New York State and Hudson Valley. We just got a big load of cider in just the other day, probably the last pressing for this season. But that's one of our goals, is really to be part of the community and to benefit the community, all the local farmers around here. We work with them when there are years that there isn't that much cider, and give them a good price when later years when they got tons of cider.
Mm-hmm.
So we developed great relationships with them, and that's really helped us get high quality cider and allow us to do it on a consistent basis.
That's amazing. That's really, really cool. Okay, well, we're tasting today, I think about 4 ciders, which I'm
Yep.
excited to hear
Yep.
about. So why don't we start with the first one? I think we're doing the original or the draft.
Well, I think we'll start with the lemon ginger, since my dad
we already
abruptly opened up the lemon ginger. Did you leave anything up there
No.
for
He
me?
was thirsty,
From the other
Dylan.
can here.
I just need a little.
No problem.
It's the cider maker cider.
So the lemon ginger is our summer seasonal cider, actually. So this is the one that you're only going to find around for those hot summer months. And let's see how good we can get that on camera there.
Yeah.
Can you see that well?
Yep.
That beautiful bright yellow can is really meant to make you think about that hot
Sunshine.
summer sun, the
Yeah.
beautiful sunshine, beautiful weather that we're finally getting here.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather today. This evening is absolutely spectacular after all that humidity.
Yeah.
It's made with lemon peel and fresh organic ginger juice.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Very cool.
And cheers,
Cheers,
Rachel.
guys.
What you're
Oh
drinking.
yeah, cheers, cheers.
Is that whiskey?
Shh. It's cider. It's been a long cider week so far. No, I'm kidding.
So,
Yeah, full disclosure, I'm in Brooklyn, and it's been a little challenging to source things. So I promise, as soon as I can, I'm gonna actually come and visit you guys and drink more cider. But yeah,
cider cocktails.
yes, I'm very excited about cider cocktails.
Really well chilled.
My neighbor has a
summery.
helicopter. Just tell me where you are. He'll come and get you.
Just drop it. Just
We'll
drop
have to worry
it. Yeah.
about traffic. Yeah.
I wish there was some kind of like direct cider like line from the Hudson Valley. I could just pull in the cider, right?
We're in plans to implement a drone drop soon. Yes.
I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
We have a fabulous summer cocktail that we use the lemon ginger cider in that is very popular, especially these last couple of weekends now where
Mhm.
we've been able to have customers come and visit and the weather's been kind of warm and perfect
Yeah, and that's
thing to-
the lemon ginger shandy you're talking about. Right?
Yes, we make
Yeah.
it with the lemon ginger cider. We make it with the vodka. We also make vodka and gin here.
my
So we
God.
make it with the Applewood vodka and the lemon ginger cider and a little
And
lemonade.
lemonade makes for a really refreshing summer drink.
Perfect.
That's amazing. Well, we're going to get to, so on Saturday, we're actually featuring you guys for a happy hour, and you guys will be making that cocktail for us, I hope, or
It's a different cocktail I think we're making actually, but
Well,
happy to make more than
I
one.
know you're using the vodka. So wait, tell me a little bit more about the vodka you're making. Just curious.
It's all 100% distilled from apples. It's got, it's not sweetened at all, but it's got this really nice hint of caramel to it. And it's been, pretty popular. It's we love using it with all our drinks because it's such a pure, clean vodka flavor.
Well, you have to
it.
remind people that it's not an apple flavored vodka. They have
Right.
there's a million different flavored.
Yeah, that's the issue we always run into with the tasting room here is people say, oh, distilled from apples, but this doesn't taste like apples.
very subtle whisper of apple that you get at the end. It's very clean tasting, and you just get that little hint of apple, and then it mixes
Yeah, it
well
makes for
with
a
all
great drink.
sorts of all
Well,
sorts.
that's really exciting.
Let's move on to the rosé.
Let's move on to the rosé. I mean, you don't really taste potatoes in potato vodka, do you? So
That's what I always tell people when they say that when we're at the tasting room. Yeah.
What's that? They don't
Is that what about potato vodka? It doesn't taste like potatoes.
or French fries or
right? Cool. So now we're tasting the rosé.
Yeah, so we're moving on to
Rachel,
our
can you
rosé
reach
cider.
out?
Oh yeah.
a beautiful
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm grabbing it.
deep rosé color.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And now this is so this cider is a semi-sweet, and we're making the rosé cider with currant juice and hibiscus.
Yep.
So
Oh,
what I like about this one a lot, actually, I think it starts off sweeter, but has a little bit of a tartness in the finish coming off of the currant juice that we're using in here. And the hibiscus adds just a little bit of that kind of floral touch to it to balance everything out. So it's one of the sweeter ciders that we do, but not overly sweet.
Yeah, I don't think it's the sweetest one that we do. I think
It's one of the sweeter ones that
Yeah.
we do, not
but
the
the
sweetest.
fact
probably.
that it starts off fruity and that it finishes with that little bit of dryness.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
means
From
that
the
it's really
currant,
well
yeah.
balanced. I
It's
find.
very well balanced.
Like I was talking about the ingredients before, like for this one, it's apple juice, hibiscus flowers, currant juice.
that's all you need. That's all you need. It looks beautiful. That color is gorgeous, by the way.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love
I
the
think
color.
it's all about the color, definitely. But it sounds like it's a very balanced, very balanced summer drink to me.
Mhm.
It is, yeah. People love to drink rosé wine and rosé everything all summer, and
Rosé all day.
rosé cocktails.
That's
for
right.
you
Yeah,
to
the
try.
cocktail that we'll be doing on Saturday, that one's
Mhm.
actually going to be using the rosé cider.
Right. The
Mhm.
rosé cider and vodka. That
Mhm.
sounds like
Rosé
a match
month.
made in heaven.
Yeah,
Yeah,
June is
June-
rosé
June
month
is
Rosé
National
month.
Rosé Month.
and cider week. So there you go.
There you go. That's awesome.
Rosé cider.
That's very cool. I can't wait to make a martini with the apple vodka.
Oh, it's
Oh
delicious.
gosh, yeah, you have to try.
We
it.
have a lot of really cool recipes for that too.
I'm
And
sure.
you're looking to
You got to get up here as soon as this is all over.
Oh yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming.
There's so many drinks that you're gonna love.
Yeah. So cool. Just I'm gonna start plugging this here. But you guys have been doing tell us about the Facebook cocktail hour you guys have been doing every Saturday.
Yeah, well, me and my mom have, ever since all this pandemic quarantine business started and we had to close down the tasting room initially, we really missed all of our customers and we wanted to contribute in some way to help people feel a little bit of a sense of community, feel like they're not just locked up at home by themselves. So we decided to start doing these live videos and they've been really popular with our customers.
it's a lot of fun to do food pairings with them. We try to do food pairings a lot of the time.
Yeah, every week has been a different theme. Some of the weeks have been wine and food pairings or cider and food pairings. Other weeks have been more cocktail class focused. Really, it's just whatever ideas come to our minds, honestly.
Very cool. And what time is it every Saturday at?
We're doing those. Well, we were initially doing them at 5:30s. We've moved it to 6 now that the tasting room is open again. We'll be doing the cocktail class with you guys on Saturday. After that, I think we're going to take a break for a couple weeks, but probably we'll be coming back before the end of the summer with some more.
And it's on our
ideas for sure.
YouTube channel also.
That's really cool.
They
Very
can
cool.
follow
Probably
YouTube.
through the fall because we have so many great fall and winter ciders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And it seems like it's really fun to drink with you guys. So
Oh, we're fun to drink with all of us.
I feel like I'm drinking with you right now, even though I'm not drinking the same. It's silly. This is
Life too
awesome.
short not to have fun. That's what
Yeah,
you do.
a family that drinks together. It's a good family. I like that.
And move on to the draft.
Very cool. Yeah. So tell us about the draft. Is this basically what does you mean draft?
Well, that's one of the first.
Yeah, well, the draft, we initially named it Draft, actually. It was one of the first ones that we started doing when we first started doing the Naked Flock cider. And the draft is actually fermented with a Belgian Ale yeast. So we named the draft kind of hoping to go after that beer drinker crowd early on before cider really gained the popularity that it has now, trying to draw in some more customers.
Well,
So-
this one was in the beginning, right?
Yeah, one of the first ones that we did. So the Belgian Ale yeast gives this one that really bright, crisp taste right up front. It's a semi-dry cider.
Yep.
Very clean, very crisp throughout. And we're using just a hint of maple syrup to sweeten this one. The maple comes through very subtly in the finish. Sometimes I tell people, oh, it has a hint of maple syrup, and they go, oh, I don't know how I feel about a maple syrup flavored cider. And I say, no, it's just very subtle, just comes through in the finish to give it that little bit of sweetness to balance it out and gives it a little smooth, almost creamy kind of taste right in the finish to help it go down nice and easy.
Cheers.
Very cool. Very cool. Cheers, guys.
Color
And the
as well.
Belgian Ale yeast gives it this kind of little bit of hint of clove and banana in there, a little bit of those kind of spices.
Very cool. Is that your most popular cider?
Yes, by far.
Yeah, this has been our flagship for
overall.
years now, yeah.
Very cool. Sounds like it. And is that the one you also like? Are all these available still in bottles? I remember the bottle, the kind of like that.
We're actually transitioning mostly to cans right now. We do still have some in the bottles, but the cans definitely is the trend these days, and it's a more eco-friendly and more portable, and
Yeah.
you name it. It
Take them
fills the bill.
anywhere. They stay well chilled with all the different kinds of chillers and coolers.
Yeah, and the cans for cider have become so popular that we actually bought our own canning line last
That's
year.
right.
Cool.
And we've gotten quite a lot of use out of that so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only does he make it, but he also cans it right here.
Yeah, and I might add also one of the things that we started doing now is that we pasteurize all the ciders so that we don't have to use any nasty chemicals to, keep it from fermenting and exploding cans, which
Right.
some fellow cider makers might know something about. And, that's been great. That's been really helpful for us, and goes back to that message of we want something that's kind of stripped bare and pure. So that has helped us out a lot in that endeavor.
Very cool. I have to say the cans are definitely easier to take to the beach.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, just take to the beach on
Yep.
your hikes, your picnics.
Smuggle into a concert.
River, yes. Easy to travel with.
Beach. I haven't been to the beach yet this summer.
Well, I'm sneaking in a couple of beach days still while I'm in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
So
we'll see some
good.
Instagrams from the beach soon. Don't worry.
yeah, awesome, very cool. Awesome. So I think the last one we're going to try is the Smashed Cherry Mead. This
Yes.
sounds insane.
Now,
Tell me about it.
I hope the purists out there aren't going to scream at us for talking about mead on Cider Week.
Oh no, I think it's okay.
But this has been this is actually, you were asking, our most popular cider is the draft. Our second most popular product right now is the mead, actually. It's been a real hit. It's a really unique product. It's made by fermenting local clover honey and then adding different flavors to it. In this case, tart cherry mead, juice, excuse me, from up in the
Also
Finger
a
Lakes region.
beautiful color.
That is a gorgeous color.
Yeah, a little bit of a slightly lighter red color than the rosé cider, a little bit more clear.
Yeah, the rosé
Yep.
is a little more.
Yeah, the rosé is a bit of a darker red.
Yeah, the mead is definitely a lighter color and
Yeah.
clearer.
And it's got that distinctive honey note to it, but it's not a sweet wine. It's a really, really, I'd say, semi-dry for most people.
Very cool. Very cool. So how's the process of making mead as compared to cider for you guys? Is it
The mead actually is a lot more demanding than the cider, I hate to say, because apple juice is just a natural place to have a party of fermentation in. Mead is not so much. It needs a lot of help and kind of coaxing and a little bit of kicking in the butt along the way to get it to do what you want it to do. It's not a happy lover like cider is.
But it's
I'm sorry,
worth
I'm
it,
getting too
right?
bad with that. Sorry. Can we erase that now?
maybe no. That's been said forever. It's all good.
You know what I really love about the fact that we're getting into the mead now is that as far as out in the marketplace goes, I really see mead right now as being kind of like what cider was back when we first started distributing back in 2012 or a little bit earlier, when it wasn't really all that well known and there was a lot of issues with consumer education and getting people to learn more about cider and see what it is. And now cider's become so popular and you're seeing ciders everywhere and it's become so much more mainstream than it was 10 years or so ago.
Yeah, now the mead is starting to.
The mead is really starting to kind of grow now. And you see, especially in New York State, it was that was just last year that they passed that New York State Farm Meadery Act, actually, which is allowing it, making it easier for people to start up meaderies and distribute them. Before they passed that act, actually, you couldn't buy mead in a beer store. You could only buy it in a liquor store, actually. But if you were making mead outside of New York State, you could sell it in a beer store in New York State. So it's like, it didn't make any sense, and it was really glad to see from the government kind of helping out those New York State producers. And you're seeing a lot more meaderies open in the state now. So I'm really excited to see what other people are going to do and what we're going to do and where this goes.
You still have to educate people about mead too. I mean, a lot of people still think, and I was guilty of it when you first started talking about, like, what is it? It's something people only drink at the Renaissance fair.
Well, you know, people hear mead too, and they'll think it's going to be like a super sweet, really heavy, high alcohol, more wine-like drink.
I wouldn't call this sweet.
No, this is what you would call a session style mead. So we're making this mead. It's coming in at only 6% alcohol content. It's very light, very drinkable. Like my dad said, you get that honey note to it, but it's not a heavy, sticky, super sweet kind of taste.
No,
it's
that's
very
what I
light
was afraid
with just a
of.
hint of honey and that tart cherry to it.
The honey, you definitely taste it. You definitely know it's there, but it doesn't like go clawing at you. And,
Yeah. So really, just like cider, there's just so many different things that you can do with it. So many different ways and styles to make it and different flavors to play around with. We're definitely planning on coming out with some different flavors in the mead. Eventually, I don't know where we're at with any of those plans.
Maybe hopefully in the fall.
Definitely.
First, I got to get this peach cider out.
That's right. We got to do the
Trying to make
peach
that
first.
tomorrow. Yeah.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going
A lot
on.
of work to do over here,
Yeah.
Mr. Producer.
That's the thing. They work 24/7. So
That's awesome. That's very cool. Well, I'm excited to learn more about mead. I don't know much about it, so it's very encouraging. So I do have a couple of questions from earlier I want to ask. So Jennifer Kazmarek, I hope she's still on viewing. She was asking, is Dylan on the Naked Flock bottle? But we went through that already.
That is not meant to be me, but I've gotten that question a few times before.
It's him.
And there you go. It's actually Jennifer. So she's asking another question. You mentioned earlier that the first wine you made was a Macintosh wine. So she's asking, what's the difference between Macintosh wine and cider?
It's just a legal definition, actually. I mean, once it goes over 8.5%, it's considered wine. But yeah, and you can call it cider. So it's really just a matter of what you want to call it. It still tastes good.
Well, the Macintosh is made only with Macintosh apples.
Yes.
And the cider's made with a blend. I would say another difference too, at least the way that we made the Macintosh wine here, is that all of our ciders are carbonated, and all of the wines that we do are going to be still wines. So you could think of the Macintosh wine like a higher alcohol content still cider, as opposed to our mostly lower alcohol carbonated ciders that we do in the cans.
Got it. That's awesome. That's very cool. Awesome. So can you guys tell me, I think we tasted through all the ciders. Can you guys tell me a little bit about, are you open now? What are your hours? What has had the reopening been
yes,
like?
really. Yeah, we're finally in phase 3 of the reopening here in New York State. So this weekend will be the first weekend that will be open and allowed indoor dining, or drinking, I should say. But we've been open for the past 2 weeks here, doing just outdoor seating. And it's been going really well for us. I'm really happy to see that everybody has been very respectful of all the rules, keeping their masks on while they're walking around.
Yes.
They can come and sit down.
We've been very happy with that. We were a little worried at first that people will be too eager to get out.
If you can see behind us on the camera here too, this is our outdoor seating area here. So we've got lots of space for people to spread out, lots of tables to set up out here.
It's gorgeous.
On weekends, we've been doing reservations, actually, just to help us kind of manage things a little bit better. We're limiting it to groups of 6 or fewer people. You can make reservations if you go to our website at applewoodwinery.com. We're going through Eventbrite. And we're open Wednesday through Sunday for curbside pickup as well, 11 to 5 p.m.
And we're doing seated tastings at the table, as well as people can just order cider flights.
And our cafe is open with pizzas and cheese boards and charcuterie.
Perfect.
You know, it's just a little bit more controlled, quieter environment than normal. But other than that, we're really just about doing everything we did before this all happened.
Right. I like it. It's more relaxing.
Yeah, we're happy that we're able to get people back and keep it, but still keep everybody safe, and that's making us happy, and hopefully makes our customers
and that's
happy.
the important part, is keeping people safe.
That's the most important part. Awesome. Well, this sounds amazing. It looks amazing. Thank you, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about today?
Look for that peach cider.
Look for that peach cider.
Well, let us know when it's ready.
Visit our website too at applewoodwinery.com. We ship anywhere in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. We're doing free shipping on 4 bottles or more until the end of the month, and that includes the cans as well. 4 4-packs, you're going to get free shipping. We'd be happy to ship some to you down in Brooklyn, Rachel.
Yes,
Truth be it, I'm moving in 4 days. I'm moving up to Trumansburg.
Oh, wow.
Actually 5 days, the day after cider weekend.
Oh, up in the Finger Lakes, beautiful cider country up there.
Yeah.
That's a huge neighborhood change.
Yes, this is long been in planning.
Yeah, I'll be there next weekend.
He'll be there July 4th weekend.
Well, I'll be there too.
Oh, maybe you'll run into
Reach out to me. We can meet up.
I see you at Emerald Landing.
We have to work all weekend.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about that, Dylan.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm very excited about all these new things you guys are doing. I'm definitely going to look out for the peach. I want to taste the vodka. I have to taste the mead. A lot of notes. I'm taking a lot of
things you have to do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Just a reminder that we're going to feature Naked Flock cider cocktail on Saturday at 6 p.m. So tune into this channel and just enjoy happy hour. Enjoy us making their cider cocktail together. Enjoy it to get some cider beforehand. The Rosé cider, and if you can, the vodka as well, the Naked Flock vodka, to make this cocktail. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you to the Hull family for tuning in. This has been a blast, guys.
Thanks for
Rachel.
having
Yeah,
us.
thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Super fun, and it looks gorgeous. Very scenic. I love it. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. And guys, check our event calendar. We have about 4 more days going, and we have a robust event
Really
schedule.
love this virtual cider week. It's a great idea.
Yeah, so far so good.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
It's been great. And you know what? If you go on our YouTube channel right here, and also currently on our Facebook page, you can go back and watch all of the events. Everything is recorded. Everything will be on our YouTube channel, so you can definitely tune in to any past events. We did a great also cidery tour with Jonathan from Naked Flock earlier in the week, so you can tune into that if you want to see their cidery operation. But really, just check our events calendar and tune in. This has been so much fun, guys. Thank you so much. And
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah,
Thanks for everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.